Three friends, one amazing series of YA novels, an insatiable thirst to relive the glory that is K.A. Applegate's literary masterpiece. This is Fanimail, the Dork-Bajir Chronicles.
Hello and welcome to the Dork-Bajir Chronicles, a podcast where we read through the Animorphs series one book at a time, then talk about it every week. Today we'll be talking about the Animorphs TV series, episode 23, which is called The Front. My name is Mikael, the host.
And I'm Brayden, the stand-in expert, while Tessa is still busy from her catastrophic interior C-section that she went through.
Interior? The baby performed the C-section?
Yes.
Oh my god, that's so dark. And then it was light when he got out. Da-da!
Da-da!
Yeah. Before we do the summary, we're gonna do some
Fanimail! Ooh, yeah! Fanimail! Ooh, yeah!
First piece of Fanimail comes from Kieran Andrews on Twitter. Superfan? Yeah, I think so. What people on the beach must have seen when Cassie was dragging down the Velik in Megamorphs #1. And it's a picture of a band, I'm assuming it's an album for a band called Gojira.
Yes.
And the album is called Flying Whales. And it's a shot from either it looks like a moon, but it might be a planet, and there's just like a humpback whale in the air suspended above it. And the answer to whether or not that's what they were seeing is like, absolutely, yes, that's what they were seeing.
Yes.
Imagine you saw that. Imagine you actually saw her doing that. Not the morphing part, just the whale falling.
Honestly, if a whale fell out of the fucking sky, I would be more freaked out by the fact that there's two moons. It's like, yeah. Oh yeah, whales exist. It's weird that it got in the sky, but like, where the fuck did that second moon come from? That would freak me out more.
Yeah, band Gojira, Gojira. Get your astronomy facts right. And in the meantime, watch A New Hope, because it kind of looks like the scene from that where the Death Star goes around the edge. Links for Fanimail will be in the show description. Brayden, why don't you read the next piece of Fanimail?
Doctor! ! Pete at the Kinglemingle on Twitter. Oh god, trying so hard not to laugh at the don't morph your shoes discussion on Dork-Bajir that I very nearly snorted all over my microbiology cultures.
Okay. Let's do this. Let's do the last TV episode. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This is actually the last episode. At least it was aired last. There's still 3 more after this we're gonna do. Ooh, bait and switch. We know you hate them. This one was written by it was written by Graham Lynch. Directed by Graham Lynch, written by George Melrod, which is a great name. It was released October 8th, 1999, which is actually the last episode, I think, according to the Wikipedia, that ever aired for Animorphs. But in the production order, it was episode 23.
Mm-hmm.
So I chose to see it as not the last episode. Also, the last episodes, it's like a part 1, part 2, part 3 thing, which seems more of a finale feel. You know what I mean? Especially once you watch this episode and realize, like, this does not wrap up or feel satisfying in any way, shape, or form. So I'll be doing the summary. So this is a pretty shitty one, especially because it focuses on Axe. It's bad enough when he's a side character. He's even worse when he's the main character.
Ugh.
But the overall idea is he gets a job selling cell phones, which it turns out there's Yeerks in the cell phones that are like going to people's ears when they put it up to their ear. And then the rest of the crew kind of also have to stop Tom from getting his new girlfriend a cell phone.
Who is Chapman's daughter?
Yes, Melissa Chapman, which is Principal Chapman's daughter. Who looks much younger than Tom, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, disturbingly younger than Tom.
Yeah, like way too much younger.
Could just be skincare.
Listen, maybe she's like 30.
Yeah, skincare can do wonders.
Also, height is confusing in high school because some people are really tall. Anyways, the Episode opens up. They're at the mall. Marco is talking about how much he like really fucking loves malls for some reason. I guess it was the 90s. Come on. Not everyone loved malls in the 90s.
No, definitely not.
And then it cuts to Axe, and he's like watching TV like a dunce in what's obviously supposed to be Radio Shack, even though there's like coat hangers behind him. Anyways, he's like mimicking stuff from TV. There's like a Consumer Report thing, and he's mimicking the guy. That'll be important in a second. It's not just a random detail. And then the clerk is like, "Oh, what can I help you with something?" And he's like, "Yeah, I want to buy a boombox." He's like, "Okay, that boombox $2.50." He hands him $2.50 and walks away. Oh, okay. Obviously, the clerk comes back and grabs it from him.
But this is like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So this is all a catalyst for Axe being like, your money is so confusing. And then Jake and Marco like condescendingly explain to him, like, yeah, you need to like get a job. I mean, Jake is like, a job is like where you go work for someone or a business. It's like, listen, freelancing is a real job.
Yeah.
Don't take this away from me.
And here's the fucking thing. Capitalism sucks. And it's great that Andalites don't know what it is.
Do they not know what it is? Or are they just like beyond it?
Apparently. I guess they might be beyond it, or to the point that Axe doesn't know what it is.
I mean, I guess because like if you're beyond it, you don't teach your kids about it, right? Anyways, so we come back after the credits, and Axe is walking by another electronics store, where this woman is very rudely talking to the presumably the owner or manager. He's like, well, okay, I can give you a new one if it's broken. She's like, I don't want a new one. I want you to fix this one. Which, by the way, in a world of planned obsolescence and things, like, definitely do take that free new one and keep the old one and then fix the old one and have two. Capitalism has just been bested by my airtight logic. Anyways, Axe comes over and he's like, oh, you can fix it by doing this. And then he pushes a bunch of buttons on this fucking like...
he makes it sound... It's really dumb. He like pretends that it's simple, but it's super complicated. It's fucking dumb.
He just pushes a bunch of buttons, and then he's like, here, it's fixed. And it's like, now it can receive like TV signals on this Casio watch. And like, it's like showing a fucking news segment. Like, they show the watch screen before he pushes the buttons, right? It is clearly that Casio calculator watch from the 90s. I had a friend that had it, and I was super jealous, and I'm not going to pretend like they weren't amazing, but they definitely weren't, like, smartphones. Like, he presses a button, and then it goes all, like, white static for a second, and then it comes back as, like, a news reporter giving, like, a news report.
I think it was, like, the news report they already showed earlier in the episode with the same character who ends up coming out later.
They can only afford to produce that one fake bit of that TV show, that Consumer Report show. Anyways, the owner of or the manager, whatever, I think it turns out he is the owner. He's like, oh, you're pretty good with this shit. Not questioning the fact that he like made it do something that was like beyond impossible for something like that. He's like, you want a job here? I'm like, oh, really? No shit. He fucking hires him on the spot, despite his speech impediment and like his clear, like basically low functioning autism at this point.
Definitely.
So yeah, now Axe just fucking works at this place, and the boss's name is Gustav.
Gustav. I got it in one. Dead on the fucking nose.
Oh yeah, Brayden did guess it, by the way.
Yeah.
For those of you who didn't listen to last week's episode, which is no one, because obviously everyone listens to every episode. This guy sells like the most wildest shit in his store. He sells calculator watches. Fine. He's clearly pushing his cell phones, but then he has foot massagers, which I don't understand how that's on theme. And then right next to it, he's got like water guns.
Yeah. Water guns that like charge up like a goddamn sci-fi laser.
It did sound like a fucking like cannon on a Star Wars battleship gearing up to fire. Anyways, so obviously Axe is an idiot, blah blah blah, but now he does work at that store. So we cut to Siberia, the arcade in the mall. Or it's not an arcade, it has literal PC monitors inset into the tables. And all of them are there, including human Tobias, which I don't think we saw last episode, did we?
No, yeah, now that you say it. And even now, we don't see him for that. He doesn't talk for like the first half a minute he's there.
He's clearly not an important character in like the writers' minds for this show, because they have completely abandoned his plot line. Like, he got one major thing, which was he got his ability to morph back, and they haven't done anything with it. Zero. They've done nothing with it. So while they're talking, Melissa Chapman comes in, who I think we have met once before when
I
Rachel
was confused by that.
Which part?
That, like, I did not remember if we had met this character before.
Yeah, we did, because remember the part where Chapman's eating her food that she's cooked, and he's like, this cooking is satisfactory, or some shit like that. Or it's like,
I don't
he uses some
that.
adjective, which is like completely a robot would say that. Anyways, as they're watching Melissa sit down at this table, Tom joins her with a drink, and it's very much like they dating kind of thing, but it still looks like they're not like intimate, but they are dating, if you know what I mean.
He like feels her sweater, like,
yeah,
oh wow, what beautiful fabric.
Oh, is this cotton? Oh god, I love cotton. It's like, fucking Tom, come on, your game is shit. Anyways, okay, so after we establish that plot point, we cut back to the...
I could pick up that 15-year-old better.
Yeah, something to brag about is how easy it is to pick up high school age girls.
Well, I mean, okay, listen, it's fucking weird for me to say that, but I'm the exact same age as that Tom, so...
True, that Tom looks like a grown adult, like way, way older than a 17-year-old or whatever he's supposed to be. Anyways, we cut back to the store where Axe is working. He's still bumbling like a fucking idiot, like gift wrapping things like a tool. But Jake and Cassie come to visit him, and he's like, oh, my 2 hours up. Can you watch the store where I have to like demorph and remorph? So he goes behind a literal curtain behind the cache and demorphs into Andalite. And for some reason, the direction was like, hey, can you like distort your human mouth in like the craziest fucking way while we do this like Photoshop thing? And then we get maybe the worst thing, which is actually like a full light 2 or 3 second shot of Axe in his Andalite body, which I think might be the clearest shot of an Andalite we've gotten in the show so far. And it's fucking so bad. You can really obviously see the neckline of the helmet. Do you know what I mean? And then once again, they haven't shown like the horse body part either, because I guess that would be too hard to paper mache.
It sucks spunk.
It's pretty bad.
It sucks spunk.
He does have a sweet mohawk though, and for some reason all the Andalites have mohawks.
They probably needed to put some hair on it because there's like an ugly seam there or something.
Yeah, it's just like hot glued together. Yeah. Anyways, Gustav, the boss, almost catches him demorphing, but he's fine. A little bit of fake bad tension.
Yeah.
In the next scene, Marco and Jake go home, and Tom is talking on the phone with Melissa. They kind of like do that thing that only works in TV where they like hide around the corner and Tom doesn't see them, but we can see that they're watching Tom. And Tom's trying to convince Melissa to like meet up and blah, blah, blah. He's got something for her. Twist, it's a cell phone. Yeah. We get, I think it's Marco. Yeah, Marco and Jake both morph their bird morphs, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They fly over. They're going to go obviously intercept.
Bat
morphs. That's what it was. So there was a plot point about bats, which ended up not mattering. It could have been birds easily, but they go to like spy on Chapman because they had heard earlier that there was like a shipment coming in. So they, like Gustav was saying, there was a shipment coming in. And at this point, or is it this point? But basically at this point, it's confirmed that Gustav is a Yeerk.
And Axe is like, impossible. I would have seen it. The glasses.
Yeah, Axe was like, I would have seen it in his eyes. It's like, Axe, you need to fucking chill. You do not have like superpowers where you can tell. Although there was that one episode where Jake thought Tom was no longer a controller, and then he fucking pushed that kid in the hallway, and Jake was like, damn, still a controller? Fuck. So maybe you can tell. Anyways, they like blow their cover as bats in this warehouse by literally just fucking up and flying around when they shouldn't have been. So now the Yeerks know that they're being spied on by Andalites, or suspect anyways.
They just swing around the flashlights and are like, shoot them, shoot them, shoot them.
I was having a hard time deciding whether or not those were literally just flashlights or were they flashlights.
They were supposed to be Dracon beams, I believe.
Okay.
That's why they look like flat. You just bust. I thought it was so dumb that they were just super obviously flashlights, but so they can pretend they're just flashlights to fucking cops or whatever. Like, hey, what's that fucking laser gun looking shit in your hand? No, it's not. It's just a flashlight.
I actually really like that.
Yeah.
I didn't think about it, but that actually makes a lot of sense. It just looks dumb. But anyways, fuck. I think I gotta go back and rewatch those other ones, the butterfly one and stuff. So we cut back to the store. Tom buys a cell phone from Axe. Axe tries not to sell it to him, but there's really no getting around it because obviously Tom knows there's Yeerks in the cell phones. He immediately gives the cell phone to Melissa, and they sit down at a bench, because the mall's fucking full of benches. But before Melissa can put the phone to her ear, actually there's a scene where Axe and Jake and Marco are all in the store and they like he like puts the fucking phone up to his ear and a slug starts coming out of the little speaker hole, and it's like, oh my god, that's so stupid. And then so obviously Jake's like, okay, well now we have to stop Tom from giving Melissa that phone. The way he does that is by being a little brother.
A little cock block.
And it's pretty good, actually. Sean Ashmore does a fantastic job of just being annoying. And I actually think that was like his best work in the X-Men movies, too. It was just being purposefully annoying. Anyways, he follows them around on their date and like specifically make sure Melissa doesn't put the cell phone to her ear in a lot of awkward ways. She has to go home because Jake's being awkward and Tom's like, get the hell out of here. They go home. Rachel goes home with Melissa because they just quote unquote coincidentally meet up. They go home together. Rachel tries to get the Yeerk out of the cell phone. I can't remember if she does get the Yeerk out, actually. Does she?
She does. She fakes. She like grabs the phone and then it's like, oh my god, I'm going to be sick. And then runs into the bathroom with it, rips it out, and then throws it in the toilet and then flushes it. But Yeerks can survive.
She's not a murderer. She's not the most ruthless one on the crew, like Axe was when he stepped on the Yeerk that was in the cell phone earlier.
On that fucking carpet? Like, that's gonna stay.
Yeah, and it was that shitty carpet that's like impossible to clean. Okay, so Melissa's safe. Yay. Axe back at the store now. He's like clearly trying to convince people not to buy the cell phones by like just fucking with everything that they're doing. Eric shows up again, which I kind of wasn't expecting him to be in another episode so soon.
Yeah. Is he going to be in all these episodes now?
I hope so. I hope the last 3 episodes are just like the Animorphs watching Eric do stuff. Because he seems a lot more capable and cooler than the others.
More fashionable, too.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Eric and Axe almost get caught talking to each other, but Eric uses his hologram to look like a gumball machine, which is also bananas, because we know that we can use holograms to just look invisible. So why he would turn into a gumball machine, a massive gumball machine that wasn't there before, is beyond me.
It could just be nothing. You could just be nothing.
He also offers no help. Axe is like, what do we do? He's like, you just gotta try something. And he's like, Axe is like, well, I don't know what we could try. He's like, we got a saying, try something.
Try something.
Yeah. So, okay. That was a waste of like 3 or 4 minutes. What they do, however, is they get the Consumer Report guy from the beginning. He comes in and he's like...
That was pretty clever.
That actually was pretty... I'm not going to lie, I wasn't sure how they were going to solve this, but that is brilliant. Because obviously slugs in a cell phone is going to be a problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the guy shows up, he's, it's very much like gotcha journalism kind of thing, where he's like smarmy about it.
Yeah. But like, they fucking worship that shit in the 90s.
Oh yeah, big time. They're really into people getting caught doing stuff in the 90s. So he walks around the store, it's like blah, blah, blah. All the Animorphs are there, but obviously Gustav doesn't know that they're Andalites. I think Axe actually like breaks a cell phone open.
Yeah, he sprays the water gun, and he drops it, so it busts open, and he sees the slug, and the TV is got
right. He fucking sprays this water gun. Oops. It was an accident on the fucking reporter who drops the cell phone and immediately shatters, which is like, there's your Consumer Report there, right there. Is the cell phones shatter into pieces when you drop them on a carpet. But obviously, yeah, the slug is there, and they're like, oh, phones with slugs. Gotcha. Don't shop here. And then they leave, and they're not like, they don't ask him any further questions about why there's slugs in his phones. Anyways, asks for his commission because the reporter bought the phone. Jokes. They get back to Siberia, and they're kind of like, yeah, I didn't really get this part where Axe gives the gifts of the wind-up radios, or is it a wind-up flashlight or something, to Jake and Marco. And then there's like a joke about how Marco wanted the color that Jake had. Oh,
I don't think they weren't wind-up flashlights. They were, I think they were, what's it called?
Label makers?
No. They were those little like handheld fishing video games.
Oh, that would make way more sense.
Yeah,
totally. Anyways, the episode fades out with Marco and Jake arguing over which color they want. And there's a voiceover with Axe where he's just like,
they say money can't buy happiness, but the thing is, when you're out of money, sometimes there's a deep misery inside of you.
Yeah.
I'm just glad I have my friends, and that the Yeerks will be gone.
Were they trying to say that money is bad? Like, I really don't know what the point of that. It made it seem, because there was like a slow motion pull out with the camera as Axe is like commenting on all this stuff about money, but he doesn't really come down on like capitalism or anything. He's just like, I wish I had more money, basically. Anyways, that's the end. End credits. It's all in your hands, baby. What were you saying about Andalites are post-capitalists?
Yeah, it's just like Axe seems so confused by the idea of capitalism that like it seems the basics of capitalism that that Jake and Marco are just laying down as quote unquote facts of life, and he's just like, that's bullshit. Why would we do that? When in the books he's specified like, Andalites did used to live like humans. We had like cities, and we fought wars with giant ships and shit. I just it seems to me that they are on the other side of a capitalist economy. The side of capitalism that you can fall on that isn't apocalypse.
Yeah, okay. I guess I can see that.
Yeah.
It's hard to say if he's like confused by money because it's human money or because he's confused by the concept of money.
I don't think he's ever talked about money in the books or the show up to this point.
Or like at least nothing other than like an irreverent like, your money is complex more than it has to be. It's like, all right, calm down. The cinnamon buns come from somewhere. Also, I thought you were going to say that the Yeerks were post-capitalism because they were giving cell phones away for free.
Well, with the purchase of a plan. That's late capitalism. That's like tricking people into thinking that they're getting a good deal.
They said subscription, which for some reason like with the purchase of a subscription, for some reason I genuinely thought that was like a subscription to like their newsletter or something. But now that you say that, it makes a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, I mean, my phone was free, but not really.
Yeah.
Because I'm locked into a contract where I have to pay some of it off every month, right?
But you can upgrade your phone when you've paid 10 times its price in fees.
Also, my favorite is like tons of those companies don't lower your monthly fee after you've paid your phone off. Like some of them do, and some of them explicitly like make a point of doing that. But there are like the big ones, they don't. They're just like, no, you just keep paying that much money. What? Fucking hell. Anyways. Also, can we talk about the fact that Axe wears his watch on the outside of his shirt?
I don't wanna think about that too hard.
He does it so many times, and he's like wearing long sleeve shirts in this fucking store, and he's wearing this like cheap ass watch on the outside of it. On the outside, so like over the sleeve. I'm gonna start that trend. What's a article of clothing you could wear on the outside of your clothes that would like actually, if you were Kardashian, people would actually do it?
A lot of like famous people are at that point where they can just make anything. Fashion is a construct. It's a mental construct. If somebody who is accepted as a quote unquote authority on fashion does something like that, then they consider it fine.
That's interesting. That's funny because I remember a long time ago someone told me like there are only a few industries that have as much money as the fashion industry does that are also like ever changing is not the word, but like not in search of optimization, if that makes sense. Art is one of those, like writing, like poetry especially, is not a form where people are like, all they're trying to do is make the best poem. Like, no, that's obviously not true. But compare that, for example, to designing and producing fridges. Well, yeah, the point is everyone's trying to make the best fridge. Whether that means a cheap fridge or an effective fridge, who knows? But fashion is an industry where there's fuckloads of money tied up inside of it, but no one knows what's good or bad. Like, at least in the art world, it's like, or like in like visual and written art, it's like, well, I mean, there is money tied up in it, but it's not like ubiquitous the way fashion is. Like, Joe Blow, who shops at Walmart, is not affected by what the latest trends in like postmodern poetry is. But they are affected by like the fashion world, right?
Yeah.
But it's a world where like no one actually has authority over it, except for the people that are just confident in saying, I have authority over it. It's weird.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Basically, watch The Devil Wears Prada, is what I'm saying. And then explain it to me, because I never watched it, but it seems important.
I think I caught a bit of it on like Movie Time once, like just like the last 30 minutes, and I was like, wow, that makes so much sense. Because
it's like Meryl Streep is like the boss who's looked up to, but is actually bad. I'm assuming in the end they realize that she was bad, and that's the plot arc, and that's the end of the movie. I feel like I don't need to watch it to get that. Write in if you've seen Devil Wears Prada. Do you think that the actor who plays Tobias is like contractually both the producers and that actor, Jonathan Peace or something like that? I can't remember what his name is. Who were just like, their contract said that he had to be on a certain amount of episodes, but he didn't really want to be there because he like doesn't deliver.
No, he's not there for much.
And his lines are not not only are they not memorable because they're not important, but he just delivers them like he's just like, whatever. Like, he's so one note about it.
Whatever.
The only time he was like really emotive was like when he was watching that voicemail from Elfangor, that hologram.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh my god.
Another weird thing. This guy was going to pay Axe $5 an hour? That's not good. That wasn't good in the 90s. Also, another thing I noticed that a friend of mine pointed out, those fucking cell phones were already huge, even by like...
Oh yeah, big time.
Even by like 2001 standards. Like, I looked up pictures, and by 2001, like, Nokias were already slim as fuck.
Oh yeah, like the cell phone my parents had when I was a kid, when like a little kid, it could fit in your pocket.
Yeah.
Like, it definitely wasn't as chunky as that. That was like some like late 80s cell phone shit. Also, I just Googled it, and minimum wage in the States in 1999 was $5.15. So that guy actually was ripping him off. However, that was only equivalent, according to Google here, that $5.15 in 99 is equivalent to $7.89 in 2019, which is pretty fucking low for working in like I get retail is like pretty cutthroat, but he's your only employee. Like, and he turned a fucking watch into a TV. Totally misused.
It's not even reality.
I don't really have anything else to say about this. Next week, we're going to be talking about part 1 of the finale, which is a 3-parter. It's just called Changes. Oh, relevant. Also, looking at the credits, it's kind of a Ron Oliver powerhouse. Each episode directed and written by Ron Oliver. All 3.
Yeah, probably.
It was probably filmed all at the same time. I'm expecting a lot of filler. Like, a lot of filler. Because Face Off was a 3-parter, and woof. There was a lot of pointless shit in that one. Hot can mean cold. Oh, no, that was a different episode. Also quite dumb. What do you think is going to happen in Changes?
Predictions! Predictions! Well, I see the first thumbnail for Changes has like a politician-looking lady. I don't think much else, but I think it might follow the events of Rachel almost leaving the city they live in, and there's probably some sort of plot about the Yeerks trying to take over politicians, sort of like the David saga, maybe it is the David saga.
I don't know how you do predictions every week because I can't handle it. Like, I've already lost interest in what could possibly be happening in this thing. I'm assuming that the next 4 things that I'm about to list happen all at the same time in this episode. While morphing, one of them hits puberty, and for whatever reason, the morphing technology makes them hit puberty at light speed. Also, one of them will get a haircut. I'm not talking about, like, the same person. I'm talking about juxtaposing shots of this happening. Morphing, hitting puberty at light speed, someone gets a haircut, and there's an election. Changes.
Changes.
You can find more of our stuff on our podcast page at collectivelegacy.org or on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, or Facebook. We lost our Foursquare subscription after our last episode. Literally, like, legal action was taken against us.
Remember to subscribe on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts, or else you will be or else the world will end.
Shit. You can show your support for our show at our Patreon page, patreon.com/DORKBAJIR.
We offer special bonuses for patrons, like access to our Discord server, Animorphs essays written by us, and much more.
We like to give a shout out to our patrons at the Dork-Bajir level or higher by giving them an Animorphs style title. Big shout out to Spencer : the Television Watch.
Anne-Marie Ellis : the Radio Watch.
Shout out, Andrew Vila : the Casio Calculator Watch, the best of all 3 of those.
Michael Armenta : the surprisingly skinny cell phone.
Mariah Wamby : the slug that lives just inside my ear, but not all the way in, but just like kind of like that, and talks to me like that caterpillar from Labyrinth.
Zachary Vaudo : the similarities between this series and SG-1.
Elamist : the actor they had to contractually keep in the episode.
Greg Della Posta : Animorphs with guns.
Martha Urquhart : Chapman's other unknown daughter.
Anyanka : Chapman's other unknown cousin.
Nick : Chapman's dad.
Steam Driven : Chapman's great-grandfather.
Shanna : the actor who played Chapman. For the Fanimorphs, my name is Chapman, the Chapman.
I'm Brayden, the Chapman's daughter.
And this has been Chapamorphs,
the Dork-Bajir Chronicles.
The Chapmangier. Chap Nichols. Oh, that's bad. Fuck. Also, can we talk about how the name George Melrod is like, you know, when you read someone's name and you just assume they're a dunce? Shout out to George. My best friend, so I'm allowed to say that.
Hi, hello, welcome to the ad for the show. I'm Mitch, the host of Wank Talk Radio. On this show, I talk to interesting people about interesting things. Do you need to know more than that? Okay, fine. Pretty much we'll talk about whatever my guest is interested in or passionate for. Sometimes it'll be silly, sometimes serious, sometimes a bit of both. Whatever the topic is, hopefully we'll find a way to make you that much more of an expert about it. You can find us at collectivelegacy.org, along with some other equally awesome shows on our network. New episodes of Wank Talk Radio are every Sunday and Thursday, wherever you find your podcasts. Let us know what you think on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Wank Talk Radio. That's WENGH Talk Radio.
Wank Talk Radio.
Brought to you by
Collective Legacy,
a podcast network.